I would like to now discuss various styles or various types of classical music within the North Indian classical music sphere, which we call as Hindustani classical music. Many a times people ask me, what is Hindustani classical music? Is Bollywood Hindustani classical music? Is Lok Sangeet Hindustani classical music? So on and so forth. The answer to that question is very simple. Anything that is in tune is music. It could be Hindustani or Carnatic or any form of classical music. So, but to be more precise on the styles of Hindustani classical music, I'm going to discuss few of them, a few important ones. The first and foremost one I would like to say is what is called as Dhrupad, Khyal, and I'll come down each of these aspects and I'm going to discuss about it. But to kind of list the various types of Hindustani classical music that people learn are the following: Dhrupad Shaili, Khyal singing, we have Tumris, and we have bhajans, we have ghazals, we have vachanas, local to Karnataka, where Hindustani music is used to describe various forms of bhakti feelings. And then we have Natya Sangeet, which is very prevalent in Maharashtra, and we have Rabindra Sangeet and Nazrul Sangeet in West Bengal, which is very famous, again based on classical music. So of all these kind of classical music, the underlying foundation are still the swaras that I talked about earlier. And if we go to each of these and kind of discuss a little bit, Dhrupad is one of the most ancient form of Hindustani classical music that we have. And some of the key characteristics of Dhrupad singing is most of the bandishes or the compositions that we say are bhakti ras, describing the god, describing the nature, very less of shringar. And Dhrupad has got more rules, if I may have to use the word, where a particular phrase or a particular raga has to be sung in a particular manner only. And even the tal system is very rigid in terms of the chautal, ya dhamar, teen tal, and other tals are also used, but mostly the tal system is very tightly knit with the singing. So now this, as musicians, you might understand that it's kind of closer to Carnatic music. It is similar to that, at least in terms of bhakti ras and in terms of laikari. The kings of the India subcontinent made this form of music more prevalent. Raja Man Singh, for example, the Raja of Gwalior, made the system, they protected this style of singing, Dhrupad. Even today we do have a lot of Dhrupad singers. It had actually gone down a little bit 30, 40, 50 years ago, but now again it has started, and Dhrupad singing has become very prevalent these days. In every major music sammelan, you see a Dhrupad gaiki as well. The one that I just presented is not Dhrupad, it's Khyal. Now what is Khyal? Khyal is also a form of Hindustani classical music that became more prevalent over the last maybe 150 years or 100 years, where some of the rigidity that is there in Dhrupad was kind of removed, and the focus was given more on a musician's ability to express their emotions. Khyal, the word itself, is emotions, and if a musician had several of those emotions to express them, Khyal said you can do it the way you want as long as you stick the ragas scale. Compositions as well. I can deviate doing an alap using a phrase without having to worry about how the tal system is going. The tal is running, and I have the liberty to go express my emotion, whatever those words are, and come back and join to the sum again on the laya. And also the way it is presented, Khyal goes into a mode of slow pace, and then to the next pace, and then to the faster pace. So it is very much structured in that way. Unstructured in terms of your feeling, you can, as long as it's within the bounds of the raga, you can express the emotions, but there is a structure to that as well. So Khyal Gaiki, I would say today, in today's Hindustani classical music, is vast. Majority of the singers do sing Khyal singing. Now let's quickly talk about Tumri. Now Tumri is also a very beautiful form of Hindustani classical system, based on the same ragas, but there again there is freedom of even lyrics. You take a lyric and take a raga, and the same lyric can be expressed in several ragas, as long as you can, I call it, hemming them nicely to create a beautiful fabric. There could be a red pattern, a green pattern, whatever. End of it, for the listener, a Tumri elevates, because every time there is a nuances, around the corner there is a new rag. So it is not bound by one rag. In Khyal, if I am singing Rag Bhairav, I am singing Rag Bhairav. Whereas in Tumri, if I say I am singing a Tumri based on Kafi or a Tumri based on Khamaj, I am not limited only to Khamaj. I can sing other ragas within it, but how one can differentiate a good Tumri singer versus not so good Tumri singer is his or her ability to weave with different ragas appropriately, so that the listener won't even know that is the case, but yet they know there is something different. That is why Tumri singers need to know more classical music. A lot of students ask me, for singing Tumri, do I need to learn classical music? The answer is yes. You have to. But do I have to spend years and years of learning one rag? No. But at least you should have the ability to know a lot of ragas. And that's what comes out as rich Tumri singing. Extending that to Ghazal is the same thing. But it is Ghazal, the lyric of Ghazal is usually limited to either Urdu or Hindi, whereas Tumris can be any language, Bhojpuri, Rajasthani, Hindi, whatever. So that would be the Ghazal singing as well. Now even within Ghazal there is Qawwalis and so on and so forth, which I'm not going to get into, but that is one. And then all the folk music. Folk music of each and every state of India has very rich heritage, and people sing those as well. Now they are also dependent on ragas, but they may not have a specific raga structure to it, because it's again free form. They are expressing their emotions. So in that way it is Khyal kind of singing only. So that's about the folk music. Now one very important thing about our film music, even to this day the film music is based on Indian classical music system only. The reason I say that is because it appears different, because it's again the geniusness of the music director, who has the ability to bring in rhythms which sound very Western, but then the content of the tune will be very much Indian. And now they also have the ability to change the raga, because it's not bound by Drupad or Khyal, right? I mean, it's a form of Khyal, I would say. They would take that raga and add swaras in it, we call anya swaras, and make it very more grander, right? So with several accompanying instruments like violin, sitar, sarod, sarangi, tabla, dholak, what have you, they bring in so much of variety there that a listener would think this may not be classical music, right? And in the old film music, you would see some of the compositions 100% based on Hindustani ragas. So in a nutshell, any classical music or any film music is based on ragas only. And people also ask me, the South Indian movies versus the Bollywood, the answer is it's both ways. The greats of Ilayaraja and the greats of G.K. Venkatesh from Karnataka, and even A.R. Rahman, all these geniuses have knowledge of all the music system. So they can whip up a raga just by listening to the lyric written by somebody. So that's the ability they have. Whereas in the earlier days, the Naushads and the S.D. Burmans and C. Ramchandra or Madan Mohan, all these greats would take a raga and compose limited to that raga only. So there is a lot of richness in the earlier film music. But today also, even to this day, I actually play and show to my students any movie song that they tell me. I will be able to say this is based on this rag, but it's changed in various places. So that is important for any aspiring Bollywood or any film music student to learn and practice classical music, whichever form, Carnatic or Hindustani, to be able to sing that more precisely, more clearly, would be my advice.